ago, Maxim had a school just off to the left along the old road alignment. 1915, a year after the railroad arrived. Since 1954, the kids go down to Tribune to school. The downside of Maxim was almost an equilateral triangle, but if it had a hypotenuse, it would be this road allowance here, the southeast side of town. And looking east approximately from Range Road 154. It's Sunday, July 24th, 2016, and it's early afternoon in Maxim, Saskatchewan. Well, the town site is now a private farmstead, the McLeods, I think, and it's posted, so we'll keep our distance. There's nothing much to see except a bunch of granaries and some sheds and some more granaries and a couple of newer houses. All the historical buildings are gone, I think, if there were any. I've not seen any historical photographs, so I really don't know what stood here beyond a couple of elevators, a station, school, lumberyard. Looking north up Range Road 154 on the west side. Was there a church in Maxim, a livery barn, a boarding house? Don't know. We're out here on the Trossachs Plain, part of the Souris River watershed, running down the eastern slopes of the Missouri Coteau. Undifferentiated till, most of it. Some good cropland like here. Some pasture land. Looking off to the west and southwest, there's the rise. Coteau, the third prairie step. This is Treaty 4 territory signed at Fort Capel in 1874 between the Queen and clans of Cree and Assiniboia people who agreed to share their land with newcomers. They couldn't know, and nobody really could, how many hundreds of thousands of newcomers would eventually take them up on that offer. And coming around to look due south down Range Road 154, you notice the little copse of trees down there. Now it's Monday afternoon, October the 4th, 2021. Farmstead over there, south of town, and this is the little copse of trees. And in the little copse of trees is this marker. So up we go. There's the Range Road, 154. There's the farmstead over there beyond the copse of trees. Everything harvested. And looking down on the abandoned farmstead. I don't know what happened to the camera settings. The color looks really off. The old site looks to be totally abandoned, not even any equipment parked. We'll go down to the windbreak here. It was one A. Wilson who established the Maxim post office, likely in the parlor of his farmhouse on March the 1st, 1913. The CPR had named the site for Sir Hiram Stephen Maxim, the inventor of the machine gun. And Maxim's main attraction, Estefan grain elevator built in 1914, when two built that year. International elevator being the other one. Only ever just the two of them. The Saskatchewan Wheat Pool closed it and sold it into private hands in 1964. Likely the McLeod family. The right-of-way of Canadian Pacific's Neptune branch is just beyond the buildings there to the west side. It was kicked off in Estevan in 1912 and ran westward out to Bromhead. passed by here in 1914, and a farther 6 miles northwest up to Neptune where it ended. CP dropped off a portable station at Maxim here in 1914 at mile 48.2 from Estevan. It was removed at a date unknown. Looking northwest, CP declared the last 14 miles of this line abandoned in 1959, and by 1960 had all the steel cleaned up. You can see the foundations of the international elevator there, closed by the pool in 64, removed. Before 1914, grain was weighed at Kelna's lumber yard and hand-loaded into boxcars. In 1948, Stanley Vernon McLeod became the postmaster at Maxim, and it may have been his brother, Murdoch Stewart McLeod, who closed the office on April 21st, 1970. CPR laid the downside out perpendicular to its right-of-way, as was its custom. And you can see at the north, at the upper side of the screen, Township Road 44 coming in, formed the northern boundary of the town site. Right in here, it's curved around a big wetland, a slough that's since dried up. Looking straight down road allowance there, the far end of which is the site of the school. Main Street and another street to the left. Railway Avenue running parallel to the right of it. And you will doubtless recognize the view north up Range Road 154 on the west side of town. So dusty, it was a really dry year on the prairies of Saskatchewan, 2021. I can't figure out why Canadian Pacific would build a line out this way when 4 years earlier, in 1910, Canadian Northern had completed their line from Lampman across to Radville, cutting off all the territory to the north. Never incorporated, it's private property in the RM of Lomond number 37, Maxim, Saskatchewan.